And I think we're live. Hello. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to another live stream. We're building a Darwin Evo. The Darwin Evo, the second serial number 002 Darwin Evo for Jo Prusa. I have to let you know that is sponsored in part by LDO and E3D and Jo Prusa, because LDO and E3D provided some of the parts for the build, and Jo Prusa is paying me to build this machine. This is my version of the 2007 Darwin. Just noticed a bit of loose filament. So we've got some things to talk about before we get started. But before we do that, let's just make sure everything is working and people are arriving okay. It's actually not quite the start time yet. I'm actually early for once, so that makes a nice little difference, doesn't it? It's pretty rare. Normally things go wrong about 6 times before doing anything else. This is obviously how far we got last time. And we're just basically going to carry on from here. But I'll tell you about the other update stuff as things get started. We currently have 0 people, although Maker Viking is clearly here because they said hello. So, hello! Maybe I forgot to announce it very well. I'm pretty sure I announced it on Twitter. Maybe I've not given people much time. Yeah, I announced it on Twitter. Hopefully the link is fine and everything. One of the downsides of building printers, which is not things that everybody else is doing, is that they may be less aware of the machine, or the search terms, or whatever people do to find things these days. But I think this is going to make for some really good instructions, although that's something else we'll talk about in a minute. For anyone that's looking to build it, having seen me build it should help a little bit, as I can provide some information as we go. And with that, I think we've hit just about 3 o'clock, which is when I was going to start. I suppose it's actually half an hour earlier than I would normally do as well. Sometimes I do 3, sometimes I do 3:30. So it all varies a little bit. Cool. We've got people here. Excellent. Even if it's a little quiet. Maybe somebody else is streaming? I don't know. So, first things first, we had some comments last week, as well as an idea that I had previously had about the corner blocks. So the corner blocks are these blocks in the corners. There's obviously 8 of them, and in this design we're building here, they're all identical. So you kind of have to work out in your head, based on where it's eventually going to end up, where to put the heat set inserts in. Otherwise you end up putting them in the wrong place, or you use way too many and all this kind of jazz. So what I've done is I've changed the corner blocks a little bit. Well, quite a big bit visually, I suppose. So basically, there's now only heat set insert holes in the specific places where you need them. So you basically print all the blocks, put inserts in all the holes. That's it. Very, very simple. And then you just have to work out where they go, because I've not put the labels on the blocks yet. At the moment, it's just the part labeling like in the file now. But obviously, once it's printed, you do also need to know where they go. You can work it out from where the heat set inserts and stuff go, but I'll have them labeled individually as well. Hopefully in a place, well, the intention is in a place where you can't see it once you finish the build. So hopefully that will help in terms of getting things built just in the first instance. So that's the first thing, a little corner blocks update. The next thing is a brief discussion about kits. So basically, the long and short of it is kits are expensive. I don't mean as in buying a kit is expensive. What I mean is, if you want to make kits for lots of people and you want to be able to kind of ship them in a reasonable time frame, you have to spend a lot of money buying bits. So if I want to sell, for example, 100 kits, and they're, for example, I don't know, if the bill of materials is, say, like £1,000, that's £100,000 that you need up front to be able to just buy parts. Plus, of course, all the shipping and all the management of that and all this kind of stuff. So I think what the current plan is going to be, I was considering doing pre-orders, but that's a bit risky because I would have to fulfill them even if we don't meet a certain criteria, which gets then like doubly expensive because you don't even have a quantity bonus. So the plan is, I think, I'm not going to 100% commit to this, but I think the plan I'm thinking at the moment is to do a Kickstarter. So that would mean we can kind of gauge exactly how many people buy them, and we can have that minimum limit so that if not enough people want them to the point that it's just not really viable to make kits, then you end up getting your money back and it's not successful. So that's the plan. I think we're going to set it somewhere around 100 kits. And then if we don't manage to do 100 kits in a Kickstarter, then you'll just have the open source bill of materials and that kind of stuff, and you'll be able to DIY it, and you've still got this video and everything to be able to build the machine, so it's not going to go away. And there may be still like other developments and mods and stuff. It's all open source, so you're not really losing out a lot. It just means you don't get that cost benefit of having a nice, conveniently made kit. So the plan will be, we create a Kickstarter, the Kickstarter is successful, we make the 100 kits, and while all of that is going on, I create a really detailed PDF documentation, a bit like you'd expect to see from like the Voron guides. So literally page by page, step by step, going through every single piece that you need to know in order to actually build the printer and get it all done. Because although a video guide can be really useful and helpful, it's not necessarily at the pace for everyone. So having a nice PDF guide will work much better. And of course, when we know that we're getting 100 kits in through doing the Kickstarter, it makes it really worthwhile to be able to create that documentation and everything else. So that's kind of the plan. That's what I'm thinking. If then we don't manage to get the target that we have in the Kickstarter, obviously everyone gets the money back and we just don't make kits. It's not the end of the world. Maybe we'll start doing like partial kits. So like, just like a small bit of the complicated bits that are difficult to get, and then you can manage everything else. So that's still maybe another viable option, but I think we should try and attack the full Kickstarter first, just to see really how much interest there is at the price level where we can actually deliver kits. So one of the reasons, I guess, that we've got to do it this way is that there's not really much like prior existing builds in order to kind of develop off and understand what the situation is. With things like Voron, like before there were kits, there were already loads of people building those printers. So that's like a level of interest which is evidently apparent. Whereas with this, it's all just kind of me building a couple of things and lots of people being interested, but turning that interest into an actual purchase of a kit is not necessarily the easiest thing. So yeah, we just don't really know exactly what that level is going to be. When you say we, who do you mean? It depends. Most of the time I just mean me. We mean me and Vector 3D. Whereas Vector 3D is also me, but you know, that's just how, for some reason, I talk about things. In this case, I suppose when I talk about we, I'm also talking about LDO. If we do create a kit, that kit will be sort of, I guess, designed by me, but all the sourcing, getting everything together, maybe polishing little bits, doing all the packaging and all that kind of complicated stuff behind the scenes that needs to happen, that will be from LDO. They're blooming good at doing that. And I think they're going to be an ideal partner because it means everyone has a level of trust in me delivering what I'm saying I'm going to do. Hopefully you trust me a bit as well. But we know that LDO have produced loads of kits. They do loads of Voron kits and kits for other stuff. I think they're going to be a great partner to work with for this. So that'll be the plan. It's a lot of work to put together a Kickstarter. And if it's not successful, it's not successful. But I'm going to keep working on it and developing it and maybe changing things, doing other versions, this kind of stuff. So yeah, that's the plan on that kits side. I might just take that, I'll cut that bit out of the video, make it like an extra video just so people are aware. Anyway, cool. The other thing is, we'll keep it short. There's a new website. You might have noticed. You might have received emails from me. Especially if you placed orders or if you bought things like cauliflower, Cali Lantern, I want to make sure everyone still has access to those digital files. So there's emails. You've got to like reactivate your account on the new website because you're not allowed to move passwords because obviously they're encrypted. So I don't actually know what they are. So you can't copy them from one place to another. It just doesn't work like that. So all the orders have moved from the old shop to the new shop. So all you have to do is click the link that says like activate, and then you go in, put in your new password, and that's it. All your old orders are all there. You can download all the files and all that kind of stuff. So good. Maker Viking did that earlier today. Hopefully a couple of others of you have too. All those emails I think have been sent out, barring like 2,000 for some reason. It sent quite a few and then just decided to stop. So there's some that are a bit missing, but all the ones for the digital files are there. And if you just go along to the website, I think you might be able to do it yourself. Maybe not at the moment. But yeah, things are a little bit in flux while I put this new website into kind of into a functioning order, just because there's like loads and loads of things you need to do. If I try and do them all at once, I'll like rush it and make a mess, and there's nothing worse than making a mess and having like all the thousands of orders that I've had placed, people receiving random emails all over the shop. So I'm doing like one bit at a time, like day by day. I'm doing a new thing, and that's involving sending an email to everybody. So that's like thousands of emails. So yeah, I have to be sure that I'm getting it right when I send that much stuff to people. I don't want to be sending confusing emails all over the place. So yes, that is that. Right, now I suppose we can get on with the build. As we did before, most of the instructions at the moment, although obviously, as I said, if we do Kickstarter, then we can do PDFs, and then you don't have to worry about this video so much. But I'm following the laptop, which has the CAD. CAD being computer-aided design in it. So this is kind of where we've got to, although the top parts are not really set in a position. They can slide up and down a bit at the moment. So I think I'll do that next. And then we just kind of carry on through this and we do the next bits, which are all these kind of cross rods. You see they all kind of go like that, which adds a lot of stiffness to the overall frame. We couldn't do that last time because the threaded rods were not here, and now I do have some, although they're not very nice quality. We'll be getting some more, so the final build that Joe receives will have the stainless steel ones, but at the moment I've got some zinc plated ones, just to make sure we can actually carry on and progress. But they're a little bit grubby, unfortunately. They're not particularly nice, but I needed something, so that's what we've got. So yes, first things first, let me show you how to align these things. Hopefully I'll get this right, because I've not checked the instructions. Basically, what I hate doing is measuring things. Like these can go up here, these can wiggle like 15 or 20 mil because they're just sliding, so as long as they're not too twisted, they can move all the way up and down. So to get them in place, we use the parts that stick on the top. So this is one of the like Y idler pieces. You have a thing that goes through here and has the what's and the doolies. And this is the exact height to fit on here and have the rod just sit flush with the top. So all you have to do, maybe we'll use another part just to make sure it's super duper flush. Make sure that that's flush, nice and thing. So that block is now in the correct position. We can use now a screw in the heat set insert, which will grab that side, just like so. Bibbidi bobbidi boom, done. Now it doesn't move up and down, and this is now nicely centered and positioned and twists nicely. Nicely, nicely, nice. So we just go around the four corners doing that. Again, just want to make it flush with the top. That's nice. Ooh. As I mentioned in the last video, I'm kind of testing the whole bill of materials and doing this build as well. Because obviously there's like hundreds of parts in order to build the machine, and knowing the quantities of all of those is pretty key when trying to build a kit, because if you don't know how many you need to ship, then you obviously are not going to get very far. So it's important that I don't drop screws and pick up other ones and go get stuff from anywhere else, which obviously I would normally do for all the other builds. Today I just need to use exactly what is in front of me, nothing more and nothing less. Well, I say it in front of me. What I really mean is in the big box behind me, because that's where all the parts are. I should have asked if anyone had any questions about the stuff I talked about before carrying on, but I didn't. But if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Especially like the website stuff, maybe. It's probably a bit confusing. I tried my best to explain things in emails, but there's only so many emails I can send. If I start to send too many emails, that gets really confusing for me, as well as for everyone else. Are these the wrong length? Am I putting in the wrong one? No, I don't think so. Trouble is, people are like, some people are signed up obviously for the marketing emails, although I basically never do them. But the website platform doesn't like sending emails to people who are not part of the marketing platform because it thinks you're trying to do marketing. And I don't think making sure people have access to the orders counts as marketing, but there we go. It is what it is. Okay, we probably could have done that at the end of last stream, but that's now ready to receive the threaded rodded doobly-doos. So I think we'll probably move this to one side, and we've got to go do a bunch more heat-set inserts because that's lots of what this build entails. I forgot to get any music on again. Although it'd probably be a distraction. I'd end up dancing and singing instead of actually building the printer, which I'm not sure anyone wants to hear, really. Okay, speak to you later. Just did another quick Twitter post while this heats up. 260-ish degrees Celsius is what I'm using. 264 it's labeled as, but it doesn't need to be quite that specific. Oh, where's this part come from? Oh, that's what I did. Probably I got that out for the alignment. Don't need it. Go over there. So 16 of these blocks, one heat-set insert in each one. Stuff just takes time. This is a VMP Pro, by the way. The first kits will be going out soon. I'm not taking any more pre-orders, I don't think, at the moment. So I'll fulfill the pre-orders that I currently have, and then it will just go on to general sale once these are all sorted. I'm in the midst of printing all the parts and packing stuff up at the moment, and then they'll be able to ship out. It's a slightly more expensive version than the standard VLMP. You've got this nice anodized aluminium base, linear rails front and back, a nice enclosed idler design at the top, and it's all kind of, there's no options, so it's more of a kit for small businesses who want to be able to use 3D printed and heat-set insert parts, but they don't want to be choosing or printing their own parts. They just want everything to come together. But for hobbyist use, it's absolutely fine as well. And still, pretty reasonable as far as heatset insert press tools go. I feel like I should probably get a second camera. I used to use multi-cameras for my live streams, which I think was quite popular, but I changed a few things around, and I was only using webcams before. Their quality was not very good, but full cameras are really expensive, and then you have to have like the capture cards that can deal with multiple cameras, which are also really expensive. Everything gets very, very expensive very quickly. I don't really make any money from doing live streams, so for a while it hasn't really made sense, but I might consider upgrading a little bit. Right, I don't think we're going to do more heatset inserts now. It's time to do some threaded rods. No, this is where I end up wanting gloves again because of oily things. It's fine. So the reason I've just paused and thought is because for these rails, we have to do some of the ground wiring. So I might try and do that now. It feels a bit confusing to do because we're not really focusing on electrical stuff, but the reason is we're using like an M8 or an 8mm ring terminal, which obviously has to go onto the threaded rod in order to clamp in place. So unless you disassemble stuff later, you kind of need to assemble that now. I hadn't remembered that I would need to do that until literally a few seconds ago. So hopefully I can find all the bits to do that. Here's a bunch of ring terminals. They come in a huge bag, so we've got loads of those. And then we should have some yellow and green earth wire. I will have to check the bill of materials because I can't remember what the length should be. We'll need to get the right length for the wires because we also only have a limited amount based on the bill of materials. So we want to cut it to the right length so we're really properly testing what I've accounted for. So, cross earth strap, 0.8 meters. Oh, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So I think, I know we've got 8. Yes, we need that, the other terminals as well. Although we don't have to do the other end now, it kind of makes sense to do. I think it's 8 pieces and they're 100 millimeters long, and then we can cut them down. I suppose we can't cut them down if we do the whole thing. So let's just do one end. That'll be fine. It makes enough sense. So a crimp tool. Oh, right, a stripper tool rather, and a crimp tool. Going to get a measuring tool, something basic, because these wires, we're going to cut them to 100 mil now, and then later on, if they need to be trimmed down a bit, we'll do that. So whatever we cut to does not need to be precise, just approximately that length for now. We want 8 of those. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 6, 7, 8. So that can go back in the box. Probably more earth wire than we needed overall. We shall find out later. I can't remember everything that we needed for. So now we just put the Rotset terminals onto these. Hello, James. I forget the length for these. So these are the M8 ring terminals. It's just a ring terminal like you might have seen elsewhere, but the hole at the end is absolutely chuffing huge, so they'll fit nicely onto our M8 threaded rods. Maybe a little bit too crushed, but I think it's okay. So I'm probably crimping or stripping maybe 6 to 7 millimeters or something off the ends. It's just a guess. And maybe 8-ish. Let's get this snug in there. I don't think that's going to be tight enough. It's not. Better? Maybe I'll try and zoom in a bit so you can see a bit closer what's going on. So obviously getting this in here. They're labelled, but the these are actually not the color that they match the size to, if you see what I mean. That's good. I know crimping is not the most exciting thing, sorry. If I'd remembered that I had to do this, I probably would have done it prior to the stream, or at least done like 6 of them. So I just have to show you a couple as we go. But it is what it is. I don't think this is a very good tool, really. It does, well, it requires a lot of force, but I don't know if it's part of the tool being not great or if it's just the dies are not very good. Not too sure. Hello. We're getting some more people join, which is very, very nice. Hope everyone is doing well. Just remembered we actually need a couple more of these. So these are the ones that will do, there's like 4 X's around the obviously 4 sides, but there's also like a top and bottom. No, not a top, just a bottom. There's that XY cross. Extra, oh no, maybe 8 is all of them. Yeah. No? Yeah. Oh no, another 2. Another 2. 2 more. The other 2 have different ends, but we're only doing one of the ends, so for this purpose, they be the same. If the kit gets refined later on, or if we have a kit where all the wiring's like pre-done, then you luckily may not have to deal with this. But at the moment, it's a very DIY kit. That was close. So everything you do need to be able to do, pretty much. Nothing is really too difficult. Hello, 1 litre Peter. Right. We now have 10 little earth strap doobly-doos. Should be all we need for now. Now we need to make up the cross sections. So, of all the threaded rods, whoops, you should have 8 of one length, 2 longer ones, they're only like maybe 50 millimeters longer, and then 1 short one. The short one we don't need for now, that's for like the drag chain support, so that can go away. The 2 long ones are for X and Y, which we'll do in a minute. They can go away for now. At the moment, all we need is the 8, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And they should all be the same length. Give or take a little bit, doesn't have to be perfectly precise. We need M8 nuts, which we have here. And we also need some M8 washers. We won't empty the bags completely for now. That's that. So for each one we do nut, washer, one of these, washer, nut, and then down the other end we do nut, washer, one of these, and then one of washer, this. Yeah, let's just do it. It's probably easier to just do it. So start with this. We'll kind of go in from 2 ends, I guess. As I explained, these are not, these are not perfect. Oh, very not perfect. Oh, I thought they were better than this. I tested them all. They were fine. Well, we'll have to use a little bit of force, I think. Yeah, these rods are going to have to be replaced with some stainless ones, which just look a lot nicer. Strength-wise, they're fine, but there's nothing wrong, particularly with the bright zinc-plated rods. But these ones have been mangled a bit as they've been made, which is not very impressive, to say the least. There we go. The reason it's very difficult to put on the end is when they were made, because I didn't cut them, they didn't like properly cut the ends, as in they just kind of hacked at it, so all the threads are damaged. I did try to fix them up by filing them out, and I had thought I'd tested all of them, but maybe I missed a couple. It's not the end of the world. So on one end we need this, so we need to put this in this gap here, pointing that way. So the way you want it, am I going to show you? It's not so easy. It kind of has a flat side and a sticking out side. You want the sticking out side by the nut, and then the flat side by the washer. Oop. It's not going to matter too much whether you get it round exactly the right way or not. And then you're looking for the rounded face here. One's got like square chamfered edges, and one's just round. So the round one goes on here. Doesn't matter which way, I can't remember. I think it does. Can you put it on a different way? You can put it on that way. Ultimately, it's not really going to matter. The only thing is it will just look a very slightly different. Just make sure all the little teardrops are facing the same way, and that'll look nice. And then we repeat the process to put the last one on the end. So what we're going to do is not tighten this down fully. I don't know why I'm using this tool. We want to leave this really loose initially, because that will mean we don't, as we tighten it onto the frame, we don't want to be like forcing the frame out of position because of how we randomly place these. So you want this part floating quite a bit, and probably floating even more as you actually place it onto the machine, just so it gets into a place that's not forced. And then this end is just kind of the same, hopefully a bit easier. Yes. That's what it should go on like. Slide that nut down, put this thing on, teardrop facing up, then a washer, and then another nut. As with the rest of this build, there's quite a bit of repetition. We have to do 8 of these. So while I'm doing these, does anyone have any questions? How's everyone doing? What you been doing recently? Has anyone visited the new website and tried it out? Anyone got any feedback, suggestions? Oh. As soon as I start talking, I do it wrong. Oh, let's face it the right way around as well. There we go. And this doobly on here. This doobly on here. This doobly on here. And then the last one on the end. Different camera angle. Slightly, I've just put the camera further back. I want more cameras. I'm still using a GH5, which I know is quite a premium camera, but it's not so premium as it was when it actually came out, which was quite a few years ago now. Are they on the, like this GH7 or something now? I find it really difficult to convince myself to spend money on cameras that do basically the same thing. Like, I'm sure the picture quality looks better to people that can really see it, but I try to go by the phrase content is king. And on that premise, buying new camera gear doth not make a better YouTube channel. So I think it's quite easy to fall into the trap of, oh, my videos aren't doing great. It must be because my video quality is not good. Spend £2,000 on a camera and then go, oh, I'm still not getting more views. If you got the money, fine, sure, whatever, do it. Especially if there's like workflow improvements by using a different like brand or something. And maybe I can improve the quality of the content, not like the picture quality, but by having more camera angles that improves interest. I don't know. Water cooled your VZ bot. That's what I've been doing. That sounds like quite a lot of effort. You're refurbishing a Voron 2.4 300. Currently designing an SBE mount for an LDO toolboard because it doesn't work with the LGX Lite. Cool, 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 cool. You've been busy. I did a bit of work on my, I have down here, the VZ235 that I did on live stream. I'm still not really using it. I think the top hat space is just not enough. The tube is all like, there's not great like filament feeding, so I need to sort that out. So like I want a better tool hat, a top hat rather, to give more space for things. And I had this problem with the extruder motor just going absolutely bonkers in terms of temperature. Like it's running at like 0.2 amps, but it's so hot that I almost burnt myself touching it. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there. Something not quite right, just don't know what it is. I'll get it sorted eventually. Ooh, you already did one. What kind of, how did you do it? I'm very fussy, aren't I, when it comes to design. I have an idea of what I want it to look like, For example, it needs to reuse the existing panel that I have. I don't want to buy new panels. I want filament feeding like at the top rear center to come in for the feeding. But maybe if I start with yours and modify it, that will at least take less time than starting from scratch. It's just a bigger V0.2 top hat. Oh, so yours is using extrusion and panels. New extrusion panels. Okay. Yeah, I didn't really want to buy more extrusion and panels. I was just going to do it all 3D printed and then put the new panel on the top. I don't know. I suppose if I buy V-slot, that's pretty cheap. Maybe I could do that. It's just been one of those things that's... I really want to be using the machine because I'm printing quite a bit at the moment. And it sucks to have this ridiculously high performance machine just sitting there doing nothing because just like can't get filament to the hot end. It's just like, it's such a dumb reason to not be using a printer. But I just don't have, I do have the time. I'm not finding the time at the right time in the right places. So yeah, unfortunately it's still a bit dormant, which makes me sad. At least for you, you don't have to do all of these twice. I'm going to have to replace all of these. Although they actually don't look too bad. Now they're assembled. I think the zinc plating can just look a little bit inconsistent. But now they're all together, it actually kind of looks fine. Although the ends are a little bit... I think I'll probably still use the new ones. It just means I have to sit here and take all these nuts off and back on again. Do 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 do. This way around. I probably won't be able to check a picture at the moment. I might be able to get Discord. Ah, yes, I see. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it looks good. I forgot you had a 235 for some reason. Are you using the standard motor as well? Are you getting an extra hot extruder? I make nuts, more I make nuts. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't get why it's so hot because I checked the motor and the specification and it says it can do up to like 0.6 amps or something and I'm running it at 0.2 and it's so hot I can't touch it. My only guess is that it's just thermal, the heat break for the hot end is not breaking heat as much as it should be. And maybe it's just heating all the way through the extruder into the motor. I'm really not sure. Something about it is weird. I also tried to increase the speed because the profile I was using was pretty average, considering it's like all-wheel drive with this huge long hot end. I tried to make it go just like a fraction faster, and then it started skipping. I was like, what the hell is going on? So I don't know. It got to that when it started skipping, I was like, I don't have time for this right now. It was really frustrating. I know it can be a great printer. Check the hot end fan voltage as well. Mine was set to 12 volt and it's a 20 volt fan. Oh, that might be it. That certainly would explain a complete lack of thermal dissipation. Thousand 120k. Yeah, mine's not even going close to that. It's doing like 20k acceleration at 350 and skipping steps. I mean, I asked one of the devs about, or one of the admin team on the Discord about any updates on firmware. There's not really been any firmware updates since I built mine. So I don't know quite what's going on there. Can you... Do you mind sending me your config as well? So I just can check at what mine is. I can't remember as well if I've done input shaping. And then that also got me into a mood of, oh, I can't be bothered to do this right now. Because obviously the lack of input shaping would probably explain also skipping. At the moment, the one we've just been talking about is the VZ235. It's this one behind me. I did an assembly live stream of a beta kit probably 6 months ago. More than that. It was like July last year. And I've just not used it since, which makes me really sad. I really do not want to be getting rid of it. It's such a cool printer. But it does need to pull its weight in order to keep its spot in the room. Because I'm very limited on space. It might not look like it on camera, but there is not much space in this room. And it's not very well or efficiently used. So... Oh yes, I'm doing a live stream. Let's carry on. Oh yes, you finished yours before I did on the live stream. Because I was doing mine at like one a week and you just built the whole thing in like a weekend. Not sure if I remember correctly, but I think you said the print head is based on the Voron design, just visually different. Is it compatible with the Voron mount? Looks awesome. Would love it for Voron. So, yes. The Darwin Evo extruder and hot end assembly is all Voron Stealth Burner and Clockwork 2. I've not tried putting it on the Voron, but I did copy across literally like the design, mounting and everything. It's just kind of wider and chunkier. I would expect it to work, but I would suggest you actually do a test fit just with the plain printed parts before you go and get exuberant and disassembling everything before you know, give it a go, but it should be fine. Excellent, thanks very much. And then I'll do a top hat, because they sent Mello sent me this gantry. We're getting really off topic now, sorry. This really nice aluminium gantry, because the carbon one I didn't really like. The design was just not super great. So they sent that, and I said I'd do an upgrade. And because I've not been using the printer, I've not had the inclination to do the upgrade. Anywho, what's next? So we have the other feet things to do. Feet things! Let's do some feet things. Sorry, brain's going. We've got the rods here. One of them, I'm just going to go and have a quick look in the other room at the printer that's finished, just to remind myself what the layout is. Because there's nuts that have to go on in some places, because I have to connect to the earth strap. The earth plane, whatever you want to call it. Earthing doobly-doos. So it's just one right in the middle, and it's the one from the front left. Okie dokie. I don't know, hopefully you could hear me while I was in the other room. I was just checking the printer and where the extra bit needs to go. So let's bring this down here. And for now, move these things that we've just assembled over here. And we'll do these. So one of these has the air strap on. One? Surely both. Come on, Adam. Because I've marked in for two. There's two on the bill of materials, so I must have counted them from somewhere. One must be directly under. Yes. Okay. Okay, I think I got it sorted. Right. You have that one on your two, surely not on your, I suppose you have the longer version. It is building a printer identical to one you have. Words. It's weird. Building a printer that you already have one of in the other room, of which neither will belong to me. So it's difficult building stuff without instructions. I can appreciate why people are not going to build one unless I make instructions. So this has to go on quite a long way. You know what I'm going to do? Give it the old drill method. This goes on here with one of these. So the drill method, for anyone that doesn't know, is where you attach a drill to help you rotate it faster. Do 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 do. Maybe a bit more. So that's then going into here, all the way through this foot, then back through this foot. Yes, that's right. I don't know why I chose to do this on live stream, really. It's a bit silly, wasn't it? Thank you, Checky. I'll catch you a bit later. Thanks for the firmware and stuff. And then we need one on the other end as well. It's all thread all the time. So the ideal way to assemble this is to do it the way I've just done the other ones. But because we put the feet on early and we didn't have the rods available at the time, we have to do it this way. It is what it is. Here we go. Right, and then we're going to have to put this one all the way back. I think that's about right. I think we're missing some. I think we need more. Because we have to connect. Sorry, I'm just going to check in the other room again. Each corner has 3, but I've only put for 2. Oh no, each corner has... Yeah, that one has 3. That one has 3. This one has 3. Plus the 2 that are in the middle. So that's an incorrect doobly-doo on the bill of materials. We're going to have to add some more. Well, I think... Oh no, we have 2 more washers in here. So we can put this on here. See, you updated the Caliante model. I'll have to download and give it a try. Yes, we did that very recently. This is the royal we again. It's just me. But yes, big update. It works really, really well actually now. It's a combination of some slight errors in the calculation, and oh, that's the doorbell. I'll be back in just a second. I wish it was pizza. Pizza would be pretty nice right about now. No, it was really nothing exciting at all, in fact. But you can't control when these things turned up, hey? So it is what it is. Then we need this coming down here. Hello, Lars. Good to see you. Ah, I think the nut that I threw away earlier was part of the one in the bomb. We're missing some nuts. Let's work out how many. So that's actually going to clamp that. We're missing 2. I was expecting my bomb to be more accurate than this. I was not expecting to find problems this early on, but it is what it is. As long as we capture the problems and sort them out, then it shan't be causing any more issues. This needs to go on here as well. So we slide that through there, into this hole over here, back through this hole over here, bibbidi bobbidi boom. That's in there, that's in there. Right. So we're missing 2, oh, 4. 4. You know what? I've not counted these ones. That's probably the ones I've not counted because that's 4. Those ones that hold the extra straps, I've miscounted those, I think, when I was doing my counting up. Or I've done something silly like put them somewhere else in the bill of materials and not named them the same thing. Whatever the problem is, I now know I need to fix it. I forgot to put washers on your dipstick. It probably would have been easier to remove the feet before doing this. This way, probably not the best. So let me go grab some more M8 nuts. Shoot, where are they? I found M8 nylock nuts. I don't know how many normal ones I have. Hopefully I didn't just buy the exact amount on the bill of materials and have no spares. That would be silly. I legitimately do not know where they are. There might be in a box down there. I'm going to have to get those at a different time, I think. It looks like we got the right number of washers. Which again reinforces that it was these earth things in the middle that I did wrong in terms of counting. This will work for now. In terms of the position of the rod, it doesn't matter really too much how far it sticks out either end. You just want enough so you've got a few threads sticking out so the nuts hold tightly. There we go. Nice. Now we can start putting the side ones on. So we need some spacers. Spacers! Which I forgot to get out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6. 7, 8. I think in my head that sounds like the right number. And then we need these. So the way these assemble, you see it is with a specific direction here. So this part with the screw always points in the general upwards direction. So that's what we want to replicate on the machine. So those are always pointing upwards. We should put those screws in now actually as well. And then the earth strap, this earth cable thing, this wants to go towards the bottom, or the lower side, I should say. Make sure you don't thread these in the screws too far, because that will prevent them from sliding onto the rods. If you look through, you can see how far they need to go. Okay, so this one, wire at the bottom, so this end goes at the top, and then the screw facing upwards. This will go on here like this, but this is actually the long side. Let's do the other one first. Short side first. So by short side, I mean this one's sticking out 20 millimeters. This sticks out 28. So the 28 one needs a spacer to go 8 millimeters past this one. So screw facing upwards, earth strap down the bottom. Don't drop it. Stick that on there. This is what I mean by keeping it loose. This will need to slide through here so it gets the right length. There should still be then some wiggle room to move up and down. And you can tighten the things onto the thing. And then you want about the same thread sticking out each end. But for now, we'll just do them finger tight. So there you go. If you can see that. Nice and secure. Barring maybe a bit of Loctite and whatnot. So then we put the spacers on here, and that will then space out the one that we put over the top by 8mm so the rods don't clash. Put the screws in the ends. So now this kind of goes around the other way. So you have kind of, again, the wire at the bottom side, the screw facing upwards, top screw facing upwards, like so. Again, tighten that into place, wind these in so they're just snug. And the top one. And you'll notice the ends will sit nice and flush. If the ends don't sit flush, it means you've done something else wrong. So you probably want to go double check that before you go any further. And then the cross beam brace thing will go in the middle later on. And then we rotate the printer and do the same thing again. We can get the spacers on now. We'll move the tape to be somewhere where we don't lose it. Very nice. Next. Oh, you posted it on Discord. Good plan. I won't look now, obviously, but I'll have a little cheeky look later. The only reason I didn't go for the 330 is just because it's pretty big. But I sort of feel like I should have done. It feels like the design is a bit more finished. That might just be a bit of a grass is greener on the other side sort of situation, though. I don't know. Why are you not fitting? There we go. I feel old when watching you play around with those threaded rods. It's been many years since I played. It's pretty old school design, isn't it? It just takes quite a long time to do, doesn't it? Threading these... That's the sound effects. It just takes forever. Oh, daisy. Oh, what's going on there? There we go. This on here, this pointing upwards, this pointing upwards. Wire at the bottom. Do 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 do. There we go. And now one up here. Oh, one up here, one down here. Right, one more side. This is as the printer starts to build in weight and also in stiffness. Hopefully I've not made any mistakes. Yep, that's good. Can you imagine me doing this the first time? And I just mean, this time I've already built one. So this is speed building. This is experienced building with a threaded rod machine. Looks like I got the spacer number just right. Right. Obviously we can tighten things up and that kind of stuff, but that is the majority of the kind of core frame done, I think, kind of, mostly, right? Let's have a little lookies. There we go. Just waiting for the mouse to switch screen. So we get these on. As I said, this CAD is kind of in the assembly order, although not quite. Yeah, those base rods go in. Then the feet, but we did the feet before. Oh. Then the whole bed. See, we haven't done the bed at the moment. I think we'll cover a bed on a different day. Ignore the bed for now. Just pretend that's not there. The bed can kind of really go in whenever, because it just, the whole thing can just slot in, and like you can take the bed out, which I did actually. No, I didn't take the whole platform out, but it slips in and out pretty easily. So is this kind of lot next, I think. The kind of Y-axis general assembly. So this thing and this thing. Couple of motors, couple of pulleys, a few belts. Bibbity bobbity boom. So let's move the printer out of the way. And we'll call this the start of the Y-axis section. Whew. I'm going to go wash my hands briefly, and then we shall resume. I really fancy a pizza now, after somebody mentioned it earlier. The bell door, the doorbell rang. The thing is, if I was to do live stream and like eat pizza as I go, I'd have like oily fingers and get like greasy, oily yuck all on pizza. But I don't think it's very pleasant to watch people eat. Especially if you can hear it on the microphone and stuff as well. There's a noise of people chewing. Eesh. No thanks. So, at the start of every section, guess what? More heat inserts. So not many printed parts for the Y-axis. These 4, plus the little accent pieces. I don't think... Oh yes, there's a couple on this one. A couple on this one. 2 on each, I think, here. Let's get this turned on. Ba 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 da ba da ba 131 minutes? No, hour and 31 minutes. Is the stream quality okay? That's the other thing. For me, the preview looks really high quality because it's obviously like the direct camera feed. But I'm sure as soon as it goes through the... Because the preview I get in YouTube is tiny. So it looks gross. I'm sure it probably doesn't look this crisp. Also, yeah, don't forget to donate to Sanjay Mortimer Foundation. That's what this printer, building this printer, doing this project was all about. There's a link to PayPal. Well, it's kind of a charity PayPal link. So PayPal don't take fees for charity donations. So you don't have to worry about PayPal being assholes. You can just make a donation to Smurf. Unfortunately, we don't get like banner pop-ups or anything like that. So we can't really celebrate the donations so easily. But that's not really what making a charitable donation is all about. Yes, that link is down below. So let's do some heat set inserts. As long as the printer is rigid and the motors have enough torque, the form factor of the printer shouldn't matter. Can you not see a PayPal link? Is there no link? I'm pretty sure I put a link and just copied the thing from last time. Yeah, it is there. It's in the second paragraph in the description. So yeah, I think it's just the two in this. And then these two, it's on the sides. You have to be careful not to go too deep with these. If you push them in too far, you won't be able to get the threaded rod in. So you literally want it just flush, and then you'll be fine. You could make pretty much any old printer better with modern firmware. Input shaper has an enormous effect on printer performance and quality. That dynamic acceleration control is just huge. Right, that's that. This can go off again. If you've already bought Kali Lantern in the past, you'll need to... Yeah, so once you've bought Kali Lantern, the current license model means that you get all the updates that come after it. If I end up releasing like a completely different thing, or with something that required huge amounts of changes, then I might consider doing a new product. But at the moment, like this Kali Lantern update, everyone gets it for free. Well, not everyone gets it for free. No, that's not strictly true. Anyone that's purchased previously gets the latest version without any additional cost. I think that makes sense. Yes. Let's get this out of the way. So what else do we need for this? Well, it might be easier just... Do we have a good bill of materials? Z drives, bed assembly, Y drives assembly, and Y idler assembly. So motor mount mirror, teardrop. Well, We need, of course, some motors. Some big chunky-tastic LDO motors. Just as before, we need the wires, so keep those. You don't need them right now, but you will need them later. What I'm saying is, don't throw them away with the box. It's a small thing. I believe is going to be the other motor. Ah, this one looks different. What's gone on there? Ah, this must be the X-axis motor. We need the Y-axis motors. Aha. Looks like this. Nope. Okay, so we've got two of these. So these are going to be our Y-axis motors. Yes. And this is the X-axis motor. Let's get this one back. I can go back in there for now. We could probably make them all the same. That might be a good idea. Motors, wires rather, kept behind. So we need those. Donated to Smurf. Thank you very much, Lars. That's very good of you. Thank you very much for your contributions as always. We need some M3 by 45 screws. M3 by 45. We've done the heater inserts. M3 by 8s. We've got those around. We need some belts. Oh, we need the M3 by 20 screws. I just got rid of those. 3 by 25 and 5 by 20. And 3 by 20. Pulleys, flange bearings. I'm going to have to do some digging here, I think. The box of many goodies. Grub screws. I think the pulleys actually came with grub screws on this occasion, but sometimes they don't, which is why I bought them just in case. Here we go. There's some pulleys. I don't know if that's all the pulleys, but it is some pulleys. What else do we need? There's some other bearings somewhere. There's so many huge boxes for this Revo stuff. Can we combine the boxes? Yes, that's mostly empty. Just make sure. Each of you like to tuck wires into weird places in their packaging, so let's try not to lose anything. That's the SSR. Ah, belts. Something in here smells kind of funky. I'm not sure what it is. That's, yeah, timing belts. Dinner rails and whatnot. You know what? I've probably got these flange bearings out somewhere already, haven't I? That's why I can't find them. I can't find them. Unless I've made a miscalculation. I say calculation, that's an optimistic term, because making a bill of materials is pretty much just counting. There's not much actual calculating required. That's some bearings. That's the MR85 bearings. Aha! That's some bearings, but not the right ones. Right, let's check the bill of materials. Maybe I've made a mess up in the thing. So what we're looking for is 688ZZ2. There's 6 in total, and we've used 4, so... Aha! Here they are. Right. Belts, those, motors, things, those. We don't need these because we've got them in here. So if I remember correctly, let's start with the pulleys. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pulleys included in this packaging. We need 2 for now. Yeah, so we got, although these, so just to show you, we have some with a 5mm bore and some with an 8mm bore. It's probably quite difficult to tell from back there. Try a little zoom. Maybe you can see that. You see how these ones have a big hole? These are for the shaft. So you've got 2 for going on the 8mm shaft, 1 for the X motor, and then these 2 for the Y motors. Oh golly, shouldn't have done that. Right, 4 of those. motors. So the way they align is just directly with the end of the motor. We'll do a quick test fit just to be doubly sure. But once we've got it right, we are going to use a little bit of Loctite here. So we'll put it on, line it up with the end as much as we can. Tighten into the flat of the shaft, and then to check the position, there you go. It just, you don't want it to make sure it doesn't hit the end thing. There's a hole in the top, so if you do need to adjust it later once everything's installed, you can use that hole. You can move the, obviously pull the belt to rotate the pulley around to the right position, and then you can get to the grub screw directly through the top, just in case you need to, but hopefully you won't need to. This is one thing that's not included in the bill of materials, Loctite. Maybe we should add Loctite. Oh, I've made a mess of that. Loads too much on there, but never mind. Better too much than too little. We got, yes. Just going to wipe off the excess Loctite, which didn't make it into the hole. There we go. That's one motor prepared. I'm not sure why I'm using this silly little screwdriver that came with it. I mean, it's not a screwdriver, it's an Allen wrench or whatever, but still. Got my own tools, don't know why I'm using this. That's very, very nice now. Cool, 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 cool. 2 motors. Now we need to screw the motors onto their mounts. That's probably a sensible next step. That's the M3x20s. I think I've just used 3 screws per motor rather than 4. Yes, we don't have access for the 4th. Is that? No, that's by 16, so we don't want to be using those at the moment. Why does blue Loctite come in a red bottle and red Loctite come in a blue bottle? Does it? I wouldn't know either way. That's definitely too long. Right, let's go have a quick look at this CAD because it says 20. I think this is too long. This says M3 by 20, but it might be that it's not the case. That's a 20. So are my screws longer than that? No. I must have changed the design. So that's 6 M3 by 20s that we don't want, and I'll go and swap them for M3 by 16 because I think that will be the correct length. Oh, try not to pull the wire out the camera that's currently streaming. M3 by 20, you go back in there. M3 by 16, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Try again. Yay! I'll get the bill of materials and stuff updated afterwards rather than doing it right now. That's why I make a note so that I can remember to do it later. What the dickens is this hole for? Oh, I just think access actually, isn't it? This. Oh, I put it on the wrong way as well, you dipstick. It doesn't really matter too much. It's just a wire organization. I want the motor wire pointing downwards. Um, There's a bit of schmoo caught up on the part. I'm assuming it's just on the surface. I think it's where it's kind of curled a little bit. I think as it's, you know how ASA kind of, like ABS, can warp a little bit. I think it's warped up sort of into the nozzle. I'm taking a little bit with it. As in, you know, it like cleans the schmoo off the nozzle, but deposits it on the part. Which simply won't do. I don't know why I'm scraping it off, because I'm just going to reprint the parts, to be honest. If it was somewhere that was not obvious, it probably wouldn't matter. But this is like right at the top front of the printer, and that's going to annoy me if it looks like that. So okay, that's those two. And then we've got a little bit, there's not really preparation we can do as such with these. We need a smooth rod. Oh, which one is it? We have 3 left. There's 2 long ones and 1 that's different. So it'll be the one that's different, because those 2 long ones will be for something else. What are they for? Yes, of course, the x-axis. So we need these other 2 doodlies. So this time the ones with the 8mm bore. Four more grub screws. Okay. For the best results, we want to do this bit without a break, really, because we don't want the Loctite drying until these parts are in the right place, and they won't be in the right place until after they're assembled onto the printer, really. We can probably get pretty close, so it wouldn't be the end of the world. But if you can, don't have a break between doing this bit and getting the whole idler assembly onto the printer. So the way you want these is with the... Oh, that's the wrong one. Your dipstick. As I was saying, the way we want this is with the teeth side facing sort of outwards. At the moment, we just want to slide them on like a so, and we'll lock them into place in a minute. On here, we need bearings, and not those. I don't know why these are out. It's specifically not those. Where's the other ones? I had them. I found them. Right here. So yeah, one of each of those. These are the ones with an 8mm bore. And you have to find the kind of wider side. And all you have to do, in theory, is press them in. Like so. Should be reasonably snug fit, but should go in without too much effort. Like so. And then that'll go in there, and that'll help align that. So now we've got to get a wiggle on, get them on the printer. So left lower front. That's the front. What can you see? I think front is over here, so back is here, so these go up here. So we need some extra little rods here as well. Oh, they're already out. These short, smooth rods, these go into here, one on each. And they help align this thing. So I'm pretty sure that goes all the way down to there. Maybe goes down a little bit further. Bit of gentle persuasion. It should be basically the same height as what's already there. And that goes on. It looks like we've managed to push that down a bit by doing that, so we're going to pull it back up a little bit. Although that might not move very much now. Nice, that's one fitted. And then the other one goes over here. That's that on there. Just check that that fits. That's that. And then this goes on here. That end in there. That end in there. Get that down on here. Nice. And then you want to center this rail. Position doesn't matter too much. Have I got that the wrong way around? That doesn't look quite right. It is. Let me just quickly check the other printer, see if I did that any differently. I'm just saying that the belt doesn't look like it's going to align super easily. No, that looks fine. So when you put this in, you do want to leave a very small gap at either end. And then tighten the pulleys into place. You'll always have access to them, so you can move them a little bit if you need to. In fact, we do have to loosen these a little bit later anyway. Or do we do that now? Because in order to tension these, you have to disengage one side from the other. And we have to slide the bearings onto here. Again, some of this better done with instructions, because right now I'm kind of I'm basically assembling it the way that I did it first time, because obviously this kind of extra stuff was not necessarily planned at the beginning. Whereas with PDF instructions, you can sort of think through that assembly. So like, I need bearings on here, and I now have to undo some screws in order to slide the rod out to put the bearing on. It's really not the end of the world. It's quite easy to do with this printer, which is one of the nice things about it. But obviously, if we had some nice PDF instructions of all the plans all written out, then we'd have already installed them. But it is what it is. Doesn't really matter. No big deal. Definitely not detrimental to anything in any way. Other than my pride and a slight bit of convenience. Or should I say inconvenience? Now let's do the ones at the front. So the ones at the front are just this huge block. You basically slide it over, there's a big hole, and it goes on there. Easy peasy. Again, the depth is kind of set, so you just want to put it all the way on. You might find that we can loosen this and bring this up a little bit more to meet that. Just a fraction. I'm going to take these stickers off now, because once you get to this stage, you have the more of the asymmetrical stuff installed. It becomes much easier to know which way around the printer is, so you don't really need the labels anymore. The labels are really for at the beginning, when you're not really sure which direction anything's pointing, because everything looks the same, because the parts are the same. Very symmetrical parts arranged in a slightly asymmetrical configuration. But now this is a distinct front, because you got where the motors are, and this idler bit is at the back. And that's the way the cookie crumbles. So to secure these in place, you'll remember we put the heatset inserts in the bottom. So the screws go up through the base, which is why we have these stonking long screws. And these go all the way up through here into this. Oop, so daisy. Look at that. Lovely jubbly. Something doesn't look quite right. Let me just go check the other one. Oh no, that's the same. Yep, it's all good. All good. Don't worry. Panic over. I wasn't really panicking. It's just little things, because obviously I'm assembling it for you. I'm sitting in a different way to what I'd normally do to assemble stuff. I think I got something in my eye. So I'm just noticing things that I had not noticed before. How many people do we have? 20. It's quiet. For those that didn't make the start, maybe you don't know, I was thinking of doing a Kickstarter, but we'd have to reach 100 kits, and I'm not sure we'd make it. So should we change the design, go for a different design and do that instead? I really don't know what the best solution is. I don't know how many people want to buy one. This is ultimately the question that needs to be answered. I've got like 90 odd people signed up for the notification, but that obviously doesn't mean every one of those people is going to buy everything. Especially if it ends up more expensive maybe than they were expecting, or more expensive now than when they first signed up, or something like that. Just my general uncertainty. Maybe it'll be fine. Maybe it's worth doing. So, because even doing a Kickstarter takes a lot of time. And given that we're only getting 20 viewers at the moment, it does make me think that maybe there's not that many people that want to build one. I'm just not sure. I suppose a lot of people that would build one necessarily wouldn't actually watch me assembling it, maybe. That's worth considering. Yeah, I suppose we should do the Kickstarter, and that's the only way we're going to know. We, the royal we again. I've missed putting in a couple of screws. So on the idler end, there's the heatset inserts either side, which hold this mount to the vertical rods. Cool. So I've not done the belt. I kind of actually need some of the X gantry stuff in to put the belt in. So let's just have a look where we get to on the CAD at the moment. It's got this in here. Yeah, I mean, this is maybe a little bit generous in terms of spacing compared to the actual reality, but it's fine. Yeah, the gantry is the next bit. We've got 45 minutes. I don't know how much of the gantry I'll be able to do in 45 minutes. I don't know if there's anything else we can start work. I mean, gantry, we've got stealth burner to put on that. And then we're basically onto electronics mounting and stuff. I suppose let's do these corner cube things. These will take some time and are worth doing. And then next time we can do X gantry and stealth burner all in one go, hopefully in 3 hours. We'll use the remaining 40 minutes doing some more heatset inserts. Or I could start doing the heatset inserts for the stealth burner and gantry assemblies as well. Heatset inserts for 45 minutes, yay! Right. This is still not all the heat set insert parts, but it's quite a few. So we can get ahead of the game. We're doing a bunch of them now. And then we can do question time while I do heat set inserts. So these are the bed knobs. Oh, need to turn it on. Do 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 do. I can't see how many likes there are on the video, but if you've not left one, maybe you could do that. If you fancy. So that's those. Oh, that's hot. Ow. These take quite a few. So there's two shapes of these. There's like angled ones and there's one straight one. The angled ones are for like the side ones, and then there's a 90-degree one for the bottom. Look how many inserts these take. These are 4 each. That's an angled one for sure. That's a straight one. That's an angled one. That's an angled one. That's an angled one. 4 angled ones, 1 straight one. That makes sense. One, two. Just remember there's M5 ones in the bottom we need to do as well. But it's obviously difficult to change the tip while it's hot. So we shall do that another time. Oh, I can't move it. I can do this. That's those 4, and then the bottom one. A little bit more on that one. Cool. That's them. And they match to these tops as well. The one top has a full cross. The others are like a T-shape with the line at an angle. That's indicating which ones are the slightly angled ones and which one is the square one. Only one is square, obviously, the bottom one. So that's those. We're going to be doing these next time, so let's get these sorted. A little bit of loose plastic on this one. On this piece, the screws come up from this side, so it's important that the holes are clear, hence me checking them now. So those first four are for the bearing holder, which obviously kind of just clamps the bearing into the top. Then you've got these three in this position for holding the drag chain on. And then some on the other side for the belt gripping as well. Oh, I think we've also got them in the sides for... how do we hold the thing? That's for that. That's for zip tie. Oh yeah, there's a couple here. We use them kind of to support the grub screws, which clamp again the rails into place. That's all the ones on that side. Now we can do this side. Yes, that's what these deep holes are for. Yes, there's the deep ones here you need inserts into. Bit more difficult to see these ones, so a little bit of In and out, shake it all about. There we go. There's quite a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 in a single piece. So many. See more in here. If anyone does have any questions, now's a good time to ask. Seeing as I'm clearly not super busy. Doesn't take much focus to put heatset inserts in. He says, until he puts them in the wrong place probably at some point. Oh, what's happened? He went to sleep. A bit like chat's gone to sleep. Wakey, wakey. I think that's all for that piece. Do I do any in here? Yes, I do. I do. This is not ideal for these. I'm going to find something to support this. There we go, easy peasy. Yeah. And then the back ones as well. Back to 3D. Just bought a hand skit soldering iron before I realised you sold them. Had I known, I would have bought from you. Don't worry about it. Buy from wherever suits you. That's not a problem. I was thinking about doing a video at some point, just kind of explaining what I do at the moment, because I one of the things I noticed when I was at Smurf last year, like a lot of people that have watched my videos didn't realize I had a shop, and I've had a shop for a while now. So I feel like maybe I need to make a video to tell people I have a shop, because if people don't know about it, ain't gonna know to buy stuff. Like, especially if people want to. That's like you've said, you kind of would have done if you'd have known. So it's sort of my fault for not sharing enough, really. I touched a heatset insert. They really make you jump when you touch them. You don't realise how hot 260 degrees is until your finger touches it. Mother Hubbard. It is a lot of heatset inserts. They're so good though. Yeah, I'm really happy with the handskit iron. I tested probably, well, not that many. When I was testing to have a good iron for VLMP, obviously I had some requirements like the temperature display and this kind of stuff. I didn't really want a separate box. It's viable, but it makes like packaging and shipping more of a nightmare. It's just a bit confusing. It gets in the way and all this kind of stuff. So I kind of bought a few that sort of matched my requirements. And this one was just, it's pretty good. It's a reasonable price. It's compatible with the tips that CNC Kitchen was selling at the time, so that kind of helped the whole situation. Oh, itchy nose. I knew you had a shop. I bought some daylight nears from you a while back and the cauliflower recently. Oh, nice. Thank you very much. Yeah, I guess it maybe for some people, then it's just the layout of the shop and showing what I do sell. I really like, or have really enjoyed, I should say, the more development side of the product stuff recently. So I end up creating things, I put them up for sale, but never really tell anyone about them because I'm already starting to design the next thing. And it keeps me focused on enjoying the things that are most fun for me. I don't need to put that in there. Take it out. But yeah, the downside is if I don't tell any people about them, then nobody's going to buy things, and it makes the whole development cycle kind of pointless, right? So maybe I need to start paying other YouTubers to not make reviews. You don't pay people to make reviews. But you know what I mean? Like basically a sponsor video, I guess. I just maybe want like an ad in their in their other videos. I don't know. Like it's very weird as well to cover your own products, I feel, because I mean, while I can be objective about stuff that I've designed, I don't think anyone's realistically going to trust that because it's my design, right? You want someone that's neutral. And I'm not going to be paying for an actual review. No. I gave some away recently, so the VLMP kits to other creators. I didn't really ask for anything. I was just like, here, I want more people to be using them, so I gave some away. Oh, that's another one. Those blocks are nasty. This little thing. I've got a Handskit soldering station too. Very good. I love how quickly they heat up. I've not checked out their soldering stations. I should probably get a proper one. The one I have is like second hand because where I used to work basically threw it out because the cable was damaged or something. So I just replaced the part that was slightly broken and it's kind of fine, but it's not the best. I like to support UK suppliers. Oh, absolutely. 1 litre Peter's bought a number of things from the shop. Cali lantern, a few LED sticks, and the big minion breakout. Yeah, thank you, Peter. There's definitely been quite a few repeat purchases on the site, which is really nice because it makes me feel good that you sort of were happy enough with one purchase to make another one. Or you were so upset that you're like, wow, let's just do another one. That goes through there. I don't think I need to do more on that. Nearly used the whole set of heat set inserts. Yeah, the V minions seem to stop getting so much love. It's still a cool machine, but I think a lot of people, for some reason, don't like small machines. I think as the community, as I don't know if that's the right word, but as the market, I guess, for 3D printing grows, it's always people's first impression, I think, or at least it's very common, that they need it to be big or bigger is better. So the bigger machines are more popular. As far as I know, the rat rigs the bigger machines are more popular. So all the time that's what people are buying, even though the little ones are kind of fun and can be enjoyable builds and all this kind of stuff. Ultimately, if people don't buy them, then, you know, they're not going to receive so much love from development and stuff. I mean, maybe they're developing a new minion. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, it's the same with the Voron V0, I think, as well. And some of the printers for ants, I mean, they're cool printers, but they are quite expensive to build. And ultimately, if you can get a lot more build volume for not a lot more money, then I think for most people, they're just like, well, bigger printer, more better. And I mean, they're not wrong. Bigger printer is often more better, especially if you're thinking you're going to print bigger things. Like, you just need bigger printers sometimes. I always forget where heatset inserts go on this part. Might have to check the instructions for that one. This one, there's one on the side. I never know if it's a screw head or if it can use a... One goes here, doesn't it? Because that's the one that's opposite that. Did it again. Looks like one should go in here. Should go in here. Should go in here. I think that's all. Those are just through holes. Those are through holes. This is through holes. That's for those. So it's just this. I think this is all through holes as well, so I don't need them on that one. That's one there. This is the VMP Pro. Yes. Pretty nice, eh? I'm really happy with how it's turned out. It's super duper smooth. Nice linear rails. Proper aluminium base. It's much heavier than the previous design, and it makes it nice and stable as well. Yeah, it's well proper good, this one. Super happy with it. It's coming soon, I guess. I mean, I guess. So no, those fit. I'm printing the parts that will be sent off with them as we speak. There's some more parts to be delivered. I've packed a bunch of the parts already. Where's my deburring tool? got a bit of a burr. Maybe I'll end up reprinting this part, I'm not sure. A little bit too much first layer squish, I think. Milo's doing pretty cool. I'll hopefully be getting one. That'll be still to go. More rigid than the stealth press. The stealth press is not rigid. Oh no, don't let me talk about that. VMinion is a great TPU printer, by the way. Yes, I think I printed quite a bit of TPU on mine. It's sitting in the corner, looking a bit sad at the moment. That's the way it is. Not much room and lots of printers to look at. Right, I think that's all the heatset inserts we need to... Ooh. That's right, that was just the bill of materials, nothing scary. I think that's all the heatset inserts I need to do for now. There's still a bunch left. A bunch of the stuff, the mounting things for electronics, little clamps and stuff, will use heatset inserts as well. So, still more to do. I don't know why I'm putting them back in the bag. I'll just pull them out next time we do a live stream. Anywho, I think that's going to be it for today. Oh, that did take us nearly 40 minutes. It's now 2 hours and 55 minutes. Well, a lot of heatset inserts. Yes, this is VMP Pro. This is not the very latest design, I think. The final one has a Vector 3D logo on this bit. Other than that, pretty much the same. You can tune the mass, the weight in the things. This bit I really like. I think I've shown this before. But there's just this little cartridge in the top here. Ah, so good. And there's not an additional screw to hold it in. It's just clamps between the existing screw for the lower part. So that's a little bit that pops out. And then you've got a little cartridge for your weights in here. It's so freaking sexy. These are not the final weights, which is why they don't fit perfectly. But yeah, you have that little carriage, and that means the height doesn't change depending on how many weights you have, because you can only have as many as fit in here. So there's a bay for 3 weights, a bay for 2, and 2 bay for 1. So you can have 1 weight, you can have 2 weights, you can have 3 weights, you can have 4 weights, you can have 5, 6, 7. So you can have any number between 1 and 7 in those bays, and they won't jiggle around, and they're always the same height. And that little thing just sits in there like that, and that means you can tune the weight to get the right speed and motion and whatever. And we also changed, I say we, this is again all me, these stops. So these have thumb screws now, so you don't have to have extra tools and things to change the end stop positions. There's a flexi one on this side, although it's the same stop. You have a flexi one this side as that, because that's going to impact there all the time. If it's hard, then it makes a weird sound. So it makes a much nicer sound. It's a much softer sound like this, which is always nice. Nicer on the ears. And we get lots of extra travel because of this change in position here. This can go all the way down and this goes all the way up. It gets you huge amounts of travel. So you can have really tall parts and it's the same height extrusion, 300 millimeters. This goes all the way down and this just touches the plate as this hits basically the limit of the travel on here. I'm really happy. Of course, we got fully enclosed idler. It's just a single screw in the back. And although this is trapped through here, it's only on one side. So your idler cover easily comes off like that. And then you've got access to belt or whatever screws you need in there. So that uses a heat set insert. So there's the 3D printed parts on here, because unlike the first design, like the basic design, it's not, you know, this is the Pro one. The other one is just VLMP. Because I provide prints with all of these, they come with the heat set inserts inserted. Because they're designed maybe more for light industrial use, or maybe people that don't have printers or don't want to be printing their own parts or all this kind of stuff. Well, exactly, you don't need a VLMP to build standard VLMP. That's all nuts, except for in the V2 version, which is coming soon, which is actually behind me, but you can't really see it because it's sort of hidden. That has nuts for all the parts to make the machine, and there's got like trim covers and stuff to make it look nicer, and those can use heat set inserts because you'll have a functional machine, and then you do the finishing parts with the heat set inserts, and then they finish it off, and then it looks really nice because you have heat set inserts that kind of sit in parts rather than nuts and screws poking out the edges. Anywho, that's enough babbling. You can't pre-order these at the moment. The pre-orders that I have will be sent out when I get all the final parts in. And then these will just be available on the shop as a good thing. That's a good thing? That's not what I meant to say. As a single unit. Yeah. VMP Pro! Let's go! And then the plan is I'll sort of maybe sell some like upgrade kits and stuff. A for like V1 to V2. And also from V1 or 2 to Pro. In case you want to do that. We're trying to do, I'm trying to do that kind of, you know, the Prusa, what they did, the kind of backwards or forwards compatibility sort of upgrade kits. So you can go V1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, whatever. And I'll try and maintain that for as long as I can, so that you can always improve and go to the next best thing. Let's go, VMP Pro. Maybe. We'll see. Anyway, I'm going to call it a day there. Oh, let's move that out of the way. Hopefully useful if anyone's building one. Of course, this one is going to be going to Jo Prusa when it's done, whenever that may be. The first one's still in my living room at the moment, so it could be a while before this one is sent off as well. But you don't need to know that, so I don't know why I shared it. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, thanks for joining in. I forgot what else I need to say. So I think it's just generally goodbye, and I'll see you next time. Au revoir. Toodaloo. Goodbye. Bon voyage.